Hey friends, Allison here. Welcome back to my channel. I have a new scrapbooking layout to share with you. This is going in my 6x8 story album. It is also going outside of the page protector. The page that I'm working on measures 4 inches wide by 8¼ inches tall. It's actually filling in a gap in my album on one side of a photo that had nothing on it, and this was the perfect place to put this story. The story that I'm sharing today is about a school project that my daughter is working on currently in school, and I thought that I would use the Write Story Kit from Elle to tell the story. It was perfect. So this scrapbook layout is actually a story kit crush type layout for something different. I really struggled using the Write Story Kit when it was current last month in May, until Crystal Idunyate had shared a layout just recently on her channel using the Write Story Kit, and it was school themed. And the way she arranged the pencils in her layout in between the journaling totally inspired me, and I ran with it. So that is what I'm going to be doing in today's layout. I pulled out the oversized one of the oversized die cuts that came with the kit, this cute little computer. I'm also going to be using one of the phrase strips that came with the awesome story kit a couple months back. It's going to be layered over top of the computer screen. First, I'm just trimming it down because it was quite long and I didn't need it to be quite that long. I pulled out a felt heart shape that was in my stash, also Elle. I think that went with the heart scrapbooking kit from last year in 2021. I wasn't sure if I wanted to use the gray one or the pink one. The gray one worked better, so I stuck with it. It is being stapled to the layout directly, and then the little phrase is going to be layered over top of it. The pattern paper that is behind the computer is Elle Studio, and it came from their February kit, I do believe, the Love paper pad. I thought it was perfect, and it coordinated really nicely with the pink that is already in that computer screen, the little tiny heart underneath the screen monitor part. That is all glued to a piece of white cardstock, which is trimmed to 4 inches wide by 8¼ tall. I printed my journaling out onto that cardstock using my computer first, typing it out, and then I printed it using my home printer. I will leave a link to the printer that I use down in the description box below. So if you are interested in or are in the market for a new printer, definitely check it out. I use the Epson ET2760. It's amazing and you will love it. In between the two paragraphs of my journaling, I decided that I wanted to add these pencil die cuts. I cut them apart, and actually this was lifting Crystal's idea to begin with. She had her pencils from this kit glued in between her journaling, and I thought that was so smart. So totally lifting that idea from Crystal. I'm just using my ATG to attach the pencils, but first I'm trimming them down a little bit. The white borders around them are quite thick, so I thinned that out a little bit. And here I'm going to attach the pencils in between my journaling. At the bottom of the page where the second pencil is, I'm actually going to stamp the date as well. So that'll be coming up here in just a moment. I will use intense black ink from Close to My Heart. That will be linked in the description box down below. Oh, I must have either cut that part out or I'm coming back to it. Right now what I'm doing is working on an insert that is going to go in between the base that I was just working on and the back side of the photo that I'm trying to fill so there's no gap. I decided to turn it into a pocket so I could throw my photo in between and work the photo into this layout as well. So that is going to be the insert. I pulled out a journal card. It's not actually a journal card, but it was pattern paper that I had in my stash that I trimmed down to a 4x6 inch piece of paper, which could have acted as a journal card. And I used it to back the back side of this cut file, which is a tab. I measured it or I cut it at 4 by 6 inches using my Cricut just from plain white cardstock. That's what the photo is going to be adhered to, as well as these 2 phrases that came from some Ali Edwards pattern paper that I had in my stash that I had trimmed down to 4 by 6, I think, as well. I'd planned on using it maybe as a journal card at some point in the future, but instead I decided to cut out a couple of the phrases that were on it and attach it to the back side of this tab just to decorate it up a little bit. Here's my photo. I printed my photo at home using my home printer as well. I printed it at 3 by 5 inches, and then it is going to go on the front side of this tab. I'll realize a little bit later on that I actually adhered everything upside down the wrong way, so I will fix that in a little bit. All I do is pull everything up, turn it around, and then put everything back down where they were. In the meantime, I'm working on the pocket, so I'm just punching the holes first into my layout so I know where to put my adhesive. The adhesive that I'm going to use to make this pocket is some red line tape. It is perfect for something like this because it's really strong and has a permanent bond, so it will not fall apart in the future. I'm only going to adhere put the adhesive, there we go, on 3 sides of the base to create the pocket. I'm going to cut some of that out because it's repetitive and we all know how red line tape works. If you don't, there is release tape that you need to pull off after you have the adhesive put where you want it. Take off the release tape, and then there's adhesive on the back side as well, so it works as a glue. Now that I have everything adhered, I'm adding my date. Okay, so I didn't cut it out. I just came back to it. I'm using black ink, like I said earlier, and my roller date stamp as well. And when that is done, I think about putting my insert into the pocket and then realize that it is backwards. And so it was an easy fix. I just pulled up the photo, turned it around, and put it right back down where it was. And then I do the same on the other side of the tab as well, because obviously those phrases will be upside down. They are a little bit wrinkled because I pulled them up. Luckily, I didn't destroy the paper underneath it, which doesn't happen very often, so I was quite lucky. But I did crease it a little bit, which is fine. It's no big deal. It still looks as good as it did the first time around. But now everything is where it should be. Last thing I wanted to note is that the phrase that is on the top part of the tab, "Stop Being So Awesome," I used my Cricut for, and that was the the write and then the cut function. Here's the close-ups. Thank you so much for joining me today, friends. Thanks to Crystal for inspiring this layout, and I hope it inspired you as well. If you enjoyed my video, please give me a thumbs up and a like, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, I'd love to have you join me on my channel. See you guys again very soon. Bye.